My mother was from Kiev, the capital of Ukraine, and she was deported to Germany as a so-called Ostarbeiter, or Eastern worker. But she was in Berlin, for example, or near Berlin during the Allied bombing, which was of Berlin near the end of the war, which was a terrible experience. And I would say she was quite traumatized by the war, and therefore spoke less about her wartime experiences and even her life before the war than did my father, who, although he spent 2 years in the Gulag, which was by no means a pleasant experience, to put it mildly. It was a very difficult experience, and many people did not survive that experience. But he had a different mental outlook, and although in some ways what he went through was just as bad or worse than what my mother went through, he had no problems talking about his experiences. He shared with me a great deal about his life, both prior to the war and during the war. And I was a strange kid. I enjoyed listening to my parents, hearing them talk about their experiences. So much of it is stored away in my head, but I also have all of the family documents, the photographs, and so on and so forth that I hope to use someday, hopefully fairly soon, to write a little, maybe not publish, but at least prepare a family history that my children, maybe their children, might take advantage of. But yes, people's experiences were very different during the war, and how they reacted to those experiences were very different. So my mother was much more reticent, and she, for example, said that she continued to have nightmares until her very death about some of her experiences during the war, and she never went back to Ukraine. My father was, in many respects, an optimist. In some senses, maybe a bit of a naive optimist, but he emphasized to me that in the camps, and as I said, he spent 2 years in detention in the Soviet Gulag, people who were pessimists, who fell into depression readily, were among the first to die. You needed a sense of optimism, a sense of somehow I will survive, to get through those experiences. One reason he survived was that he was very good with chess and checkers. And he found a guard who enjoyed playing chess and checkers. And my father would strategically lose, make sure that he lost at least occasionally to this guard. And the guard would, in a sense, thank him by giving him occasionally a piece of garlic or onion. Scurvy, a lack of vitamin C, was a big problem in the camps. And who knows, maybe this ability to play well and lose well to this guard may have helped preserve my father's health. I mean, his health suffered anyways, but nonetheless, he survived. My mother remained Orthodox and went to her Orthodox church. This is in Ottawa, where they lived for many years and where I grew up. My father went to the Ukrainian Catholic Church, and I attended services at both churches.
Amazing.
And had no problems going to both the Orthodox and the Catholic Church. My mother, when she came to Canada, met many of my father's friends who sort of helped introduce her to some of the traditions which were common in Western Ukraine. And my father, who was born in a village, although a village close to the town of Halych, which gave its name to Halichina or Galicia, and his parents even had a small store in this town of Halych. But the Halichane, or people from Galicia in Western Ukraine, tended to be very devout, that is, churchgoers. They tended to maintain traditions quite, both religious and secular traditions, quite sort of carefully. And my mother sort of quickly adapted to those traditions. To my parents, whom I knew very well, I have a great sense of gratitude to them for what they did, for how they raised me, and for helping me maintain my particular background. I'm very grateful to them, as well as their parents and grandparents who helped make all of this possible.